We've got a big Walker Buehler update. We're going to talk about Yoshinobu Yamamoto's best start, his near-death moment, and we're also going to talk about Bichette, this Toronto Blue Jays team. Could the Dodgers end up with Bichette one day? Shohei Ohtani is in Toronto, and fans in Toronto are going to boo Shohei. All that more coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
Welcome to Dodger Stadium. Dodgers win!
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball.
Grand slam! It's a double for Freddie.
They're going to make big signings. They're going to make impact trades. This is the most anticipated season in Dodgers history.
Dodgers have won it all in 2020.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
And a happy Friday, Dodgers Nation. Doug McKain here, credential member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. I got my Friday Fun shirt on. It's going down. And you guys can win a jersey, a Tyler Glasnow authentic jersey. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel and comment Tyler Glasnow down below in the comment section. We want all your comments on the show, all your takes about today's topics. But to be eligible to win, comment Tyler Glasnow. Also, if you had if you had already commented done on previous episodes and previous videos, you will be eligible to win. So we're getting close to 90,000 subscribers. We're climbing. As soon as we get there, we are dropping that giveaway, and then we're going to be on to our next giveaway. Tons of giveaways all season long. Autographs, tickets, merchandise, hats, you name it. This is the year of the fan here at Dodgers Nation. We're giving back to you. So welcome to Dodgers Dugout Live. Got some comments. Got Yvonne, Tyler Glasnow. A lot of you guys punching your ticket. Roy Estrada says Ohtani has landed. Also, let me know where you're representing Dodgers Nation from today. It's Friday. I know you might be at work. Your boss is making you a couple more things, but let me know, where are you representing Dodgers Nation from? We've got a guest later. We're talking about the Toronto Blue Jays series. We're going to preview that series. Got a really cool interview coming up, very short, but we break it all down so you guys will know everything you need to know, and that really is what Dodgers Dugout Live is all about. It's everything you need to know about your Los Angeles Dodgers today in less than an hour. Of course, as always, I'm joined by my super producer, Mr. Tonio. Antonio is to my left. Tonio Taters, Tonio Baseball. He's looking for all your fire takes, all your comments. He's going to feature them on the screen. He's going to feature them later during the 7th inning stretch. So always be dropping your comments. And we start every episode of Dodgers Dugout Live with the poll question of the show. I asked you guys over on X. Will Walker Buehler be back with the Dodgers next year? And right now, 60% of you say yes, while 40% of you say no. Tonio, will Walker Buehler be back with the Dodgers next season?
I think not just next season, but more seasons to come.
So you think they're going to go long term? It's going to be interesting because you could get Roki Sasaki. You got Shohei Ohtani's going to be back. You locked up Tyler Glasnow. You have a lot of young talent up in the mix with Bobby Miller. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, Jordan Montgomery's a guy you could go after, but I think Walker Buehler wants to be a Dodger. He's a big part of the culture. He's a big part of just the overall feel of this rotation as far as the attitude goes. He's great with the young pitchers, but he wants to get paid. And if he comes back, goes 100+ innings, looks anywhere near the Walker Buehler that we saw a couple of seasons ago, I think he's going to set himself up for a really nice payday. Now, if he also comes back and he doesn't look like he's quite the pitcher that he had hoped to be, and he might think that another year of getting back to where he was and getting the feel back for his breaking stuff and getting the velocity back up for his fastball. If he needs that, maybe signs a shorter term bet on yourself type deal and then goes to market a year after free agency. But I think everything's on the table. I think the most important thing is he is so respected within this Dodgers organization. He loves being a Dodger. They love him. And you brought back Will Smith on an extension. If you could get a deal done with Walker Buehler, he could absolutely help this team. I would love to see it. Butane is the man. We got Buell will be back from Shane Rochester over on YouTube. Walker going to St. Louis next season. That's Dennis's pick. It's a fire take. It's a hot take right there. It's a pretty hot take. DMAC, will Dustin May be back this season? Paul Gutierrez. I mean, the plan is for Dustin May to be back this season at some point towards the end of the summer. Now, in what capacity will he be back? That's the big questions. I mean, the last roster move that the Dodgers made with Dustin May. They placed him on the 60-day IL back in early February. He began a throwing program back in January and isn't expected to be back until the second half of the season. He, of course, underwent Tommy John surgery, underwent flexor tendon and UCL repair surgery in July, and they filled his roster spot with Ryan Brazier. So I think for Dustin May, if they think that they can get him back to where he was, someone who can go out there and punch 98, 99, he's got filthy stuff. You know, his stuff moves more than a military family. If they think they can bring him back and insert him into this Dodgers bullpen as a weapon, as a high leverage guy, we saw him in 2020 working in different roles out of the pen as an opener, right? So if they think that his stuff is good enough and he's confident in his arm, I don't see any reason why he can't come back towards the end of the summertime. But it still remains to be seen. You just have to avoid any major setbacks. But we got a super chat. My man Randy Hoffman coming through with a nice 20 banger right here. A $20 super chat from my guy Randy Hoffman. And he says, when is Miller coming back? Have a great weekend. So Bobby Miller's on the mend. They think they avoided anything serious with his shoulder and the inflammation that he was experiencing in his start against the Minnesota Twins. He was struggling with command, could not find the feel for his breaking stuff. They knew something was off. The latest with him is Miller said that he's going to start playing catch. He said that a couple weeks ago. So him playing catch is already a really good sign, right? They shut down Brusdar Graterol's throwing program. And he was originally, so anytime you're making progress, you're actually picking up a baseball, that's definitely a step in the right direction. He was placed on the 15-day IL on April 13th. Due to that inflammation in the right shoulder, they were limiting him to some plyometric type of work. And I think for him, it's just about getting himself back to a spot where when he's back, you don't have to send him back. And they're going to be very precautionary. They're not going to rush him back. So it's going to be pretty soon. I mean, I would say Walker Buehler, he's close. I don't anticipate, we're talking about his start in a little bit. I don't think he's going to make another rehab start. I'd be surprised if he did. But Bobby Miller should be in the mix soon, in the next couple weeks, hopefully, barring any major setbacks. But some more, we got the shoulder is very tricky. Absolutely. Will the Dodgers go get Mike Trout from the Angels? That's from Kaner. We got, I don't think so. I don't think he wants to be traded, and that's the most important thing when you have a no trade clause. Roy Estrada, Stone has to have his best game today. Yeah, we'll talk some Gavin Stone in a little bit, but where I want to start the show off today, the leadoff is about Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Yoshinobu Yamamoto had his best start as a Dodger yesterday. He goes 6 innings, gave up no runs, just 4 hits, had 7 strikeouts, 1 walk. He had 9 whiffs, had a 36 called strike whiff percentage. And I think you saw yesterday him take a giant step forward with that fastball command, because against the New York Mets, that fastball was not effective. You saw him struggle working it up in the zone, didn't really get able to get up there in the top of the zone to allow him to have success with it. It was leaking over the middle of the plate. They were hitting it hard. He gave up a home run to DJ Stewart. Marte, he crushed it, but different story in yesterday's start. That was his best pitch yesterday. It had a 43 called strike and whiff percentage. He threw his fastball 40 times, got 17 whiffs, and called strikes. So that tells you he was spotting it, he was dotting it, he was missing bats with it, and the curveball had a 42 called strike and whip percentage, and that splitter was nasty like it always is. So this is a pitcher that signed the highest contract, the most expensive contract, $325 million. Everyone gets caught up with that when it comes to Yamamoto. What they forget, though, he's a rookie. He's a 25-year-old rookie that's figuring out a new league. His first time in the show. And just like that, he's already settled in nicely. I am completely etch-a-sketching that first inning against the San Diego Padres in Seoul, South Korea, where he got rocked. He gave up 5 runs through 43 pitches in that first inning. That was not the Yamamoto that we know today. The Yamamoto that we know is the guy we've seen since then. And since that start, 27 innings of work, a 2 ERA, an 11.7 strikeouts per 9, 1.7 walks per 9, and 6.7 hits per 9. Even if you include that start, even if you include that rough debut against the San Diego Padres, is a 26.7 strikeout to walk ratio. That ranks second in all of Major League Baseball. Is a 31.9 strikeout rate. That ranks third in Major League Baseball. You know I love me some expected numbers. The expected numbers say the Yamamoto is close to being elite. A 253 expected FIP, that's third. You pretty much can already say that's elite. A 260 Sierra, that's third. A 264 FIP, that's fourth. His F-WAR is tied for fifth, and that's all including that rough debut. So I'm here to say that officially we have entered Yamamania. Yamamania has begun. He is a Rookie of the Year candidate. He is establishing himself as one of the best starting pitchers in Major League Baseball. You want to get a little more length. You want to get a little more efficiency from him on a per start basis. But with the fastball, figuring that out, that's been the most important thing. If he figures out that fastball, which it looks like he has, and he's taking steps towards, this is going to be a pitcher that's going to be a frontline ace-level pitcher for this organization for a long, long time. Now, I'm just happy he's still alive, though. I'm happy he's still breathing today, because there's a world where this is one of the darkest shows in Dodgers Dugout Live history, where we're talking about a commemorative number 18 patch on the Dodgers uniforms, because there was an assassination attempt yesterday by Eddie Rosario. I mean, just look at this. Look at this comebacker. Boom! Oh! Stabs at it, makes the grab. Look at this. The Neo Matrix-like reflexes. I mean, look at these reflexes there. Just stabs at it, makes the. If that's me, Tonio, my brain is just, pieces of my brain are all over the mound. If that's me.
Yeah, I mean, same here. Mine will be salsa roja all over the floor.
Salsa roja from Antonio. Would you have caught that, Noel?
So
Yeah, that'd have been off the dome. You'd been off the IL a little bit. You have some really good reflexes. You're really quick with it. So I think there's a chance that you could have caught it. But yeah, I mean, he didn't catch the ball caught him, right? That's the ultimate. The ball caught him there. I was thinking of Kazuhisa Ishii a couple years ago, taking one off the head. But hey, that really showed me his fundamentals are so sound. Just look how his feet were set. Look at the repeatability on his delivery. I mean, he was right in the perfect position to make that catch. So give a lot of credit to Yamamoto's fundamentals right there. And the most impressive thing for me in that situation, I don't care if I catch it, I'm absolutely shook. How did he bounce back? He struck out the next two batters. He came back and he punched out Vargas with the splitty down the zone. And then he struck out Young with the four-seam fastball down the zone. So Yoshinobu Yamamoto, I'm just happy that he's breathing today, because that was a scary incident. Let me know down below in the comment section. Would you have caught that? Would you have made that stab? It would have been ugly. It would have been a lot of blood. It would have been some pain there. But Yamamoto got that ultra instinct. That's from Beerus Sama. Chris Taylor, we'll talk about that. Yoshinobu was fire. That's from Debra Young. Freddie is going after hit doubles. We got Luzardo's having a bad season from Roy Estrada. Yeah, he's having that elbow soreness. BC, fun fact, Yamamoto has a 2 ERA since his 5-run first inning in Seoul. Yeah, we talked about that. If Yoshi has a sword, he would have cut that ball right in the middle. That's a comment of the show. I like that right there. It's a you win. We got a super chat we'll get to. We got Blue Jays still offering Ohtani tours of their training facility. Okay, Nando. Absolutely. So we got Yamamoto's second straight quality start. Location was key. Getting it figured out at the MLB level. He will continue to get better. I think you saw the fastball location was better. He was working the corners. It wasn't leaking out over the plate. He was keeping it down. But also, I think you're going to see that and a combination of him using a little more two-seam fastball, a little more sinker at some point to truly refine that mix. But I think with Yamamoto, you're adjusting to the ball. You're adjusting to the mound. The ball is a little bigger. It's not as tacky as the NPB ball. I think that could have led to some command issues. And yes, his hand's not going to grow, but his feel is going to improve. And I think that's what you're seeing. You're seeing his feel improve. You're seeing the command get better, the confidence get better. And that's one thing that has made him great throughout his career is he can put the ball wherever he wants it. It's like archery for him. He can spot it on the corners, and that really is the last missing piece. So I'm thrilled. I'm ecstatic, and I told you guys yesterday that if Yoshinobu Yamamoto, if he got more than 6 strikeouts, we were going to bring back the Yoshinobu Yamamoto Shui. So you guys know, man of my word. So we're going to get this Shui popping off right here. I had to go with Pacifico, but we're going to get some Shui happening right here. Let's do it. I got my Friday Fun shirt. Hopefully they don't get wet, but this is going to be the real deal Shui. Let's do it, guys. Let's do it. Let's hit it. Oh, man, that's a big pour right here.
Shout out Pacifico.
Yamamania is here. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, more than 6 strikeouts. He had 7 yesterday. I am a man of my word. I still owe you a shoey from when we signed him, but we are back here on a Friday Fun Show. Yoshinobu Yamamoto. But so excited. Look, I literally heard human beings. I heard podcasts. I saw tweets that said that this guy was a bust. They said that he was not going to be the real deal. People were saying, D-Mac, you hyped up this guy like he was going to be the next Pedro Martinez. What happened? This guy has top tier stuff. He can embarrass MLB hitters already. The man's filthy. He's nasty, and I think he's going to be a big part of this rotation for a long, long time. I think aura, his ex-aura, is at 100 too. The aura is off the charts. But we got Yamamoto looks like Maddox, how he's positioned after the pitch. Totally agree. I see that as well. I'd be dead. Yes, I'm on my prime. Breaking news. Ohtani's on a plane to Toronto. He had the bruh for that one. $10 super chat from Michael. Appreciate you over there. Darvin Roberts. I'm seeing that. Yamamania from Raw X Goods. My ghost would be there where that happened. That's from Anthony. Yeah, he almost saw Jesus there. He almost absolutely saw Jesus there. 105 off the bat, just smoking. You know what I didn't like, though? You know what? Hey, Antonio, you know what I didn't like from that?
What?
Look at this. I don't like how Rosario acted after this. Kind of in disgust. Like, you got to turn to him and bow, right? You got to turn to him and show your respect. I just feel like, I mean, yes, I get it's frustrating. You don't get the hit, but I mean, this guy, he just saved his own life. You just tried to murder him. You really should be in jail for that. And then that's how you act. I'm just saying. I mean, obviously, I just don't like Rosario for what happened in 2021. But we got James. It would have been a finish him if it was me. I agree. I don't know. His command was all over the place and then suddenly perfect. Bring back the sticky stuff from Anthony Keene. I am in favor. I've been a longtime proponent of a universal sticky stuff, so I totally agree with that. We got Strider here, U120. Andy Pajes is it. I like the kid. He can also hit off-speed pitches, not just a fastball hitter. Pajes deserves to stay longer. Conservative Zach. Alvarado Venegas. He was able to react that comebacker because he was excellent in the position to field the ball after his delivery. Exactly. I mean, that's what I was saying, too. I mean, that is a credit to his fundamentals in that moment. Tim Rogers says so gross about the Shuey. LFG D-Mac, that's how we start the weekend. We got Shuey. God dang, bro. LOL. Go D-Mac Kelly. Look, I'm a man of my word. I said if you got 6 more strikeouts, I would do it. I owed you it from when we signed him. Chug McKain is back. But next topic we're going to jump to is we are going to talk about Walker Buehler. Because Walker Buehler, I feel like, is primed to at least get back into this rotation, get his feet wet with a start, and start his 2024 season. He finished his 5th rehab start. He went into the 5th inning for AAA OKC on Wednesday, and it's Albuquerque, right? Dave Roberts said it's like pitching on the moon. It's high altitude. He got into some trouble in the 2nd and 3rd innings. He gave up a home run in both those frames. Gave up 3 doubles on 5 runs. He got to give 3 doubles and a total of 5 runs. And then he came back out there. He ended up throwing 86 pitches, came out there for the 5th. He walked the leadoff hitter on 6 pitches. And that was the 2nd walk for Walker Buehler. So there you go. Already improvement. 2 walks compared to 4 walks in his last start. And the difference was, having spoken to people that were there, was the stuff was just better. The feel was just better. He ended up inducing 15 swinging strikes. So he got 15 swinging strikes. He also had a called strike or a whiff on 32.6% of his pitches. So that's really good. That's higher than his career averages. For his career, he's at 29.3 on the called strike whiff percentage. So it, all in all, gave some home runs, had some walks, gave some hits. The velocity was fine, sitting around 94, 95. The secondary stuff, he had a better feel for it. Was a little frustrated at times. There was a moment where he was a little frustrated, but still, I think that he needs to get back on the mound to feel that adrenaline, to feel that big league feel that he hasn't felt for almost 2 years. And I think that's going to take Walker Buehler to the next level. And look, all in all, his rehab process has had its ups and downs, and he's coming back from a second major arm surgery. But if he comes back and he can pitch like a number 2 or 3 starter by the October, that's what you want. If he comes back, has some bumps and bruises, had some rocky starts early on, you can live with that. But let's not forget, the plan is October. Sooner you get him back, the sooner you can truly start the process of evaluating what you have in him and if he can be anywhere near the guy that we saw when he established himself as one of the very best postseason pitchers in the game. So the update on Walker Buehler is pitched a lot better in his last start, and he made his 5th rehab start. Now they're going to have a conversation about what's next. What's next for Walker Buehler? Now, for my next down, you have some bad news. The struggling of James Outman. James Outman has just not gotten it going this season. So far in April, he's 11 for 56, hitting 196, has a 594 OPS. The BABIP is low, under 230. League averages close to 300, so he has had some bad luck. The exit velocity is around league average. The strikeout rate has been reduced, but he has to step up. He has to start getting more hits. I mean, you win 11-2 the other day. Everyone gets a hit in that game except for James Outman, who went 0-for-5. Did have a really nice game at the plate on Tuesday when he had the double that put the team in the lead and the Dodgers were able to get the win. But I think right now it's almost like that meme where you see the guy walking with his girlfriend, they're holding hands, and the guy's looking back and he's looking at another girl. That other girl right now is Andy Pages. And Andy Pages, yes, it's still early. Yes, it's a small sample size. But when you look at the slug, when you look at how hard he hits the ball, when you look at his ability to play above average defense with the best outfield arm in the organization, Andy Pages is going to make it very difficult to keep him off this roster. He's played in 8 games. He's made 33 plate appearances, hitting 258 with a 303 on base, but the 548 slug, the 2 home runs, you're seeing doubles. He has a 136 weighted runs created plus. So far, he has a 136 weighted runs created plus. 100 is league average, so he's 36% above league average. James Outman, on the other hand, so far, 24 games, 81 plate appearances, 2 home runs, hitting 178. His weighted runs created plus is 63. So a 63 weighted runs created plus so far for James Outman. You definitely want to see him improve on that number. He's 37% below league average. So James Outman, I think defensively, his range, he's right up there in elite territory. The arm isn't fantastic, but you just want to see some better at-bats. You want to see him lift the ball and find some grass and just avoid these droughts, avoid these slumps. He has hit the ball hard. I think for him, it's just trying to put the ball in play and having good things happen, using all fields. And I think it's just tough because Pages is pushing people, because there's no way you can keep a guy like this off the roster. And then you got Chris Taylor. Chris Taylor, 1 for 45 on the season. Is he the guy that gets left off the roster if you have to make a tough decision, whether it be a DFA, whether it be a phantom IL situation? I don't think they DFA Chris Taylor. I'd be extremely surprised if they did. He seems more like a phantom IL situation, but I do think that people are, I want to make this point today. I think people are getting a little too hot and bothered about Chris Taylor. Yes, he's hurting the team when he's in there, But you're talking about a guy that's going to be in there once a week against a lefty. You're talking about a guy that, for right now, based on who's available, I mean, it's not good. I mean, you look at yesterday's game, right? Hit into a double play to end the inning. And that's a huge, in a one-run game, that's big. He had 2 strikeouts. And anytime he's in there, you're seeing strikeouts, you're seeing him hit into double play. So, yes, he's hurting the team in his role when he's in there. But, I mean, he had like 5-6 at-bats in his last 5 games, something like that, right? So, it's not like they're forcing him down your throat. It's not like they're relying on Chris Taylor to have success. But I do think that he's the last guy on the team right now. He's the last guy on the bench. He needs to turn around, or they're going to have to make a difficult decision. Because here's the thing. You can't option him to AAA. I hear people out there send Chris Taylor to AAA. You can't do that unless he clears waivers. And maybe you could do it, though, as a rehab stint. So that's kind of my idea. You can't send him to AAA in the old-fashioned way. But if he is on the Phantom IL and you send him to AAA on a rehab stint, then maybe that's a way he can gain a little more confidence and find his swing and start looking like the Chris Taylor that we saw a couple of seasons ago in the postseason. Because you just don't want to sell off on a guy and know that he's not going to be a part of your postseason run. He was 8 for 72 when he hit that walk-off against Reyes. But, yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's very competitive, and Andy Pages is changing everything. He's changing everything right now for this team. But one thing before we hit this interview, I'm going to bring in a Blue Jays podcaster, someone who covers the team, a reporter for the Blue Jays here in just a second. I want to talk about Bichette, because Bichette, a couple days ago on Dodger Talk, Dave Vassegh mentioned a little about Bichette as a possibility. There were some rumors in the offseason that maybe Bichette could be available if the Toronto Blue Jays want to move off him. I still kind of find it pretty difficult to believe that the Blue Jays are going to trade him. Some believe that they'd be more likely to move off of Vladdy than Bichette, but he has a couple years of arbitration left. And when you have 2 years of team control on top of this season, an elite hitter, right? He signed that 3-year, $33 million contract, right? So he avoided arbitration for all these years. When you have that much team control, it's going to cost a lot. You're talking big time top prospects for Bichette. If you want to trade for Bichette and move some of these top prospects and he becomes available, I totally get it. I mean, he could be a shortstop of the future. They don't have that many shortstops that they can lean on, but I think it would take the Blue Jays really, really struggling this season. They've gotten off to a really, really slow start. But if he became available, I 100% would be all in on Bichette. This is a game-changing shortstop, one of the best, most dangerous hitting shortstops in the game. I think he's got that superstar LA feel. And without many shortstops down the pipe that you can really go to, I mean, Ha-Seong Kim, Willy Adames, maybe this offseason, Mookie Betts, he's not going to be playing shortstop after this year for a long stretch. Will they give Gavin Lux another opportunity? It's possible. Will they pick up Miguel Rojas' $5 million club option and give him a chance? I don't think so at that age. It's unrealistic. So at some point, you really need to start looking for your long-term solution at shortstop. Bichette certainly could be a guy if he becomes available. It's just the prospect cost would be extremely, extremely high. But we got some more topics to get into. But coming up next, we are going to bring in a Blue Jays reporter, one of the top Blue Jays podcasters in the game. And we're going to break down this series. You won't miss what he has to say. It's really quick. Get right into it. Johnny with the Gate 14 podcast. Really had a lot of fun with this one. Here, give a listen. Here's the preview of the Dodgers Blue Jays series. And then when we come back, we're going to take all your questions for the rest of the show.
All right, Dodgers Dugout, we've got a special guest today. We got Johnny Junta. He's the host of the Gate 14 pod, the #1 Toronto Blue Jays podcast. Of course, Dodgers Blue Jays 3-game set. The first time the Dodgers have been in Toronto since 2016. Lots of storylines surrounding this series, of course, starts with Shohei Ohtani. Johnny, first thing I want to ask you is what's going to be like with the whole Shohei Ohtani angle? Of course, there was a lot of talk this offseason. I know you've seen the tweets that he's really en route and on a plane to Toronto. Just what are your feelings heading into this series?
listen, I have no ill will towards Shohei Ohtani. I mean, if you see the weather here, you see the weather in California. I'm choosing California 10 times out of 10. It's not his fault. There was false reports out. You can't blame him. The reception is going to be weird. There's going to be a decent amount of boos, I think. I mean, our fans have said it to us. They're going to boo him. I don't abide by that. It's whatever. You pay your ticket. You could boo if you want to. But I think there's going to be a decent amount of boos and a pretty decent amount of cheer. It's going to be somewhat in the middle. When Shohei Ohtani plays here, we're a very diverse culture, and there's tons of ethnicities all in Toronto. So they're going to show up for him there. He puts asses in seats, plain and simple. It's going to be packed. It's probably going to be sold out. So I think the reception is going to be a little bit of a mix of boos and cheering because there's going to be fans of him there, obviously, as well.
Yeah, I think for me, he's such a difficult guy to root against. He's such a difficult guy to boo. You know, if you're a baseball fan, he's great for the sport. He's elevating the sport. He's putting more butts in the seats. More eyeballs are watching Major League Baseball this year because he's on the Los Angeles Dodgers. But hey, I'm with you. I'm very pro if you paid for the seat, you can boo. Can't throw stuff, can't yell obscenities, can't attack players. But if you want to boo, you can boo. And I don't think necessarily, maybe those boos probably aren't aimed as much at Shohei Ohtani, the person, the player. It's more about the frustration about how it all went down. That's probably how I perceive it.
Yeah. And listen, it's going to be a little bit elevated as well because the offense isn't producing. And obviously he'd be a massive piece to this lineup. So the boos are going to be, I guess you could say it's because of the front office a little decent amount because they didn't end up getting a massive piece after missing out on Shohei Ohtani. So it's going to be a little bit of frustration with what we have seen so far from this Blue Jays offense, as well as Shohei Ohtani not picking to sign here.
Yeah, and speaking of that offense, this was going to start right there. If you look at this Blue Jays offense, 3.8 runs per game. He scored 95 runs through 25. It's tied for the sixth fewest in franchise history. Johnny, what's going on with this Blue Jays offense?
It's the top dogs, man. I said on the podcast, I get more excited to watch the bottom part of this lineup. I mean, you got Davis Schneider, who's absolutely electric. You got Ernie Clement, who's been really good for us. Dalton Varsho has been unbelievable. I mean, the guy's has 6 home runs in the last, I think, 11 games he's played. So he's been incredible, taking a lot of walks. It's the lack of production from the top guys. You have George Springer, Vladdy, and Bichette. They all have .2 WAR. They're all hitting below 230. They all have an OPS below 700. The top of the order has been very lackadaisical, very bad for this team so far, and that's where the offense goes. They get the most at-bats. The best player on this team, a guy you're familiar with, is Justin Turner, and he is 40 years old, DHing, who was like a fill-in guy, not really a fill-in guy, but a guy you didn't know what you were going to get from because he's older. And he is the best hitter on this team by a substantial margin. He is outperforming Springer, Bo, and Vladdy by a significant amount, and that's why this offense has been absolutely terrible so far.
Yeah, and you bring up Justin Turner, and that's the guy that's going to get Dodgers fans in their fields. One of the most beloved Dodgers, really in franchise history. A lot of Dodgers fans would already want to see him as the manager of this team. That's how popular he is in Los Angeles. But what have you seen from him so far, and what kind of impact is he having on this team?
I think his bat-to-ball skills is just what makes him so good, man. I mean, we've always heard, he mashes lefties. He's had some very good success against righties. I mean, his lefties, he has a 450 average right now against lefties in a small sample size, but his ability to always get the big hit when you need it. And they showed his stats with the bases loaded, I believe, in his career. He's like a 380 hitter. Just ridiculous. I mean, this guy's bread and butter is getting the hit when you need him to get a hit. And he's done that time and time again. We saw in the 9th inning 2 days ago, Jays are down 1. He gets a leadoff single. Obviously, they don't score him, but he has been a guy that has just been exceeded expectations, especially with this fan base, of how good of a hitter he is. He is truly unbelievable.
It's going to be so strange to see him in another team's uniform on the same field against the Dodgers. You mentioned his bat-to-ball skills, though. That's his calling card, right? That's why he's able to age the way he is. And, hey, look, I'm happy for the guy. He hit a home run against the Padres, helped the Dodgers. He's still a Dodger. Kind of got that once a Dodger, always a Dodger card. So I'm telling you, he's going to be the Dodgers skipper one day. And that's, to me, one of my big keys to this series, though. You mentioned the top of the lineup. You can't let this be the get-right series for Vlad, for Bichette. Are you seeing anything maybe in recent at-bats that kind of points to maybe they're going to come out of this slump?
Springer had a good game 3 against the Royals. I believe he hit his first extra base hit since the Yankees game on April 6th. So he's starting to show a little bit of signs. Bichette's looked way better. He's doing the approach where he hits the ball, fouls balls off the other way, and then he'll pull a double or hit an oppo double down the line. Vladdy's lost. Vladdy has not been swinging at good pitches, missing middle pitches, fouling them back. His timing's way off. His approach looks terrible. Has not shown a singular sign of him being back. Bichette does. I mean, Bichette has looked great. Has looked great recently, and same with George Springer. But Vladdy, I don't see a light at the end of the tunnel right now for him.
So quick one on Bichette. Of course, the Dodgers, they got Mookie Betts at shortstop. He's been playing it at an average level. He's been putting up ridiculous video game numbers at the plate all season long. But they originally wanted to have Gavin Lux at that shortstop position for the Dodgers. He wasn't able to make the throws. They moved him to second base. You have Miguel Rojas, who's a top 5 defensive shortstop, but there's some questions about his bat if he was in a full-time position. If the Dodgers are looking for a shortstop at the deadline, a lot of people want to see Willy Adames in Dodger Blue. But any chance that the Blue Jays consider trading Bichette if this team isn't where they want to be at the deadline?
I don't think so. I think the contract flexibility and the fact that a lot of the guys on this team, the contract expires in like a year or two, like the Gossmans, the Bassetts, all those guys, the Springers. I think trading Vladdy would probably be trading Bo would be at the bottom of my list. I think Vladdy probably has a little bit higher odds to get traded, but it's like if you're trading stock, you don't trade a stock at the lowest point of value for him. So I could see Bichette probably staying here forever. I could see Vladdy potentially going to another team. I've always said that. Bichette looks like he enjoys it here. He's more of a low-key guy, and that's the kind of fan the Blue Jays are like the third or second on the list of priorities in Toronto sports. So he's not going to get followed around by the press, by all that type of stuff. So I think he's more of a low-key guy, and that's what Toronto provides for him. And I think he really does like it here. I highly doubt they would ever trade Bichette, to be honest with you.
Okay, hey, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. I'm just checking it. I love me some Bichette. I'd love the flow. I think he'd be great in Dodger Blue. But, hey, let's talk about this pitching matchup. Tonight, you got Gavin Stone going for the Dodgers, coming off pretty much his worst start of the season. Just the command wasn't where it needed to be, wasn't missing as many bats in his last start. You got Chris Bassett going for the Blue Jays. Talk to me about the year he's having so far.
It's been a weird year. I mean, he last start he said like I pitched, I'm like deathly ill right now. I was sick in between innings, all that type of stuff. So Bassett's a dog, man. I mean, we've been lucky to form a relationship with him through Gate 14, so he is one of the best guys all time, and he's a competitor, man. If he doesn't have his best stuff, he will still compete on the mound and minimize runs, minimize all that type of stuff. And he hasn't had his best stuff for a couple starts this year where he's only given up 2 or 3 runs and unfortunately got the loss because the offense hasn't been able to score. But Chris Bassett, I think he's going to be. I think tonight he does pretty well. I mean, the thing about Bassett is his command. If his command is off, it's tough. But this is the guy that throws 7 pitches. It's very uncomfortable at bat for a hitter. If his off speed stuff is working, if a 69 mile an hour curveball that he throws is working, it's a very, very uncomfortable at bat. And I'm looking at that Dodgers lineup. The top half of it's very scary, but I can't see the bottom half of that lineup producing anything against Chris Bassett with how uncomfortable he is and how good of a hitter you have to be able to mash off of this guy.
Yeah, I really like Bassett as the advantage in game 1. I think Stone on the road, he just hasn't been at his best. I think he hopes to get solid, maybe 5 innings of 2-run ball and hope the offense explodes. But Bassett, a 3.18 ERA this month. And like you said, he's a dog. He goes out there, he competes. Sometimes he has his best stuff, and you feel really good. But even if he doesn't, he gives you a chance to win. Now, game 2, you got Glasnow and Kikuchi. So Tyler Glasnow, he's right up there. He could easily win the National League Cy Young. We're calling him Siler Glasnow. He's been a great addition. Last start goes 8 strong, scoreless, 10 Ks. You really have to feel good about Glasnow, but how you feel about Kikuchi heading into this one, because he's really had a solid start to the season.
Oh, he is. I stand by this take. I think he's the best left-handed pitcher in baseball. You say Kikuchi.
Wow.
I mean, he comes out to you with 97, and his curveball, adding that curveball to the arsenal, which something he didn't do earlier in the changeup, is what's made him so good. I mean, this guy has a 2.1 ERA, I believe, this year, 2.12. He has been unbelievable. Like I said with Bassett, a very uncomfortable at bat, just solely based on the fact that he's a lefty that throws absolute gas from innings 1 to inning 7. And his off-speed stuff has been unbelievable. He catches hitters off balance. Yusei Kikuchi is very, very good. I'm excited to see this matchup tomorrow, him versus Shohei. So we didn't get to see it last year until, like we saw earlier in the season when Yusei was struggling a little bit. I'm excited to see Yusei versus Shohei Ohtani when they're both kind of at their peak right now, their playing career. That's going to be an exciting game tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Dodgers have been better against lefties this season, hitting 265, 735 OPS. Not a lead or anything like that, but in the past, that's where they've had their problems. In Kikuchi, strikeout rate almost at 30%. I could see him giving them problems, but got to feel good about the Dodgers. Horse on the mound, Tyler Glass.
Yeah.
Now that's their ace in that one. Good environment. He's going to be up for that one. Then Sunday's matchup, you got Gausman versus possibly Big Maple, James Paxton. It's still TBD at the moment, but Gausman's got off to a little bit of a rocky start. Am I right?
Yeah, Gausman, obviously, spring training was weird for him. He was on and off. He would pitch. He wouldn't pitch. He was kind of dealing with some shoulder tightness, I believe it was, or fatigue. His velo has not been there for him. I mean, on Monday or Tuesday's game he pitched, he got the loss because Vladdy dropped the ball at first base. Like, he should have went, like, Gausman went 6 innings or 7 innings, I believe. Gave up 0 earned runs, and he got the loss, right? Didn't have his best stuff. That's what we're talking about with Bassett. Didn't have his best stuff, but still navigated around the zone, still got swing and misses, and still got put the ball in play and for outs. But Gausman, we haven't really seen the Kevin Gausman from last year, besides his first start he made in the season against Tampa Bay Rays. I'm looking for him to kind of get up for this game. Obviously, he's a Giants guy. Probably hated the Dodgers when he was playing for the Giants. This should be a fun one on Sunday. And I'm excited to see James Paxton as well, because James Paxton has absolutely shoved against the Blue Jays his entire career. I believe he threw a no-hitter against them. So it's good. The Sunday one is a very, very fun pitching matchup. I'm not quite sure if Paxton's going. I know it's not confirmed yet, but Gausman has been not his best, and we're kind of waiting to see these, like, stringing together a couple quality starts where he's punching out 7 to 10 hitters and going 6 or 7 scoreless. We haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, I think with Pax, I mean, the walks have been high. 8 in his 2 starts ago, 8 walks 2 starts ago, and 3 in his last starts. You just haven't seen the same swing and miss. So you want to see the swing and miss numbers go up. You want to see some more punch outs, the carry on that fastball, working up in the zone. But really, that's my number one biggest key. I'm going to ask you your biggest key, but my number one biggest key for the Dodgers is don't let this be the get right series for the top of that Toronto Blue Jays lineup. Don't let this be the get right series for Kevin Gausman, because we heard what Mookie Betts said before the season. Every time a team plays the Dodgers, it's going to be their World Series. I'm not saying that's necessarily true, but anytime you play the Dodgers with Shohei Ohtani, you're going to have more butts in the seats. It's going to be more of an electric atmosphere, and you just don't want to have this be the series where some of their best players start playing like it.
Yeah, and the key to the series, I'd probably say, for the Blue Jays is the top 3 getting right. I mean, I know you talked about not like the Dodgers not allowing this to be the get right series, but this top 3, I mean, if you want to look on the positive side, this team is 500 right now, and the top 3 of their order are hitting maybe the worst in baseball. I mean, it's OPS is way below their career average. Average is way below their. Vladdy's hitting 213, I believe, which is just obviously inexcusable. But I would say the key to the J series is scoring runners in scoring position, because they've been terrible at that this week. It's been horrible to watch, and obviously, and the top of the order get going. I mean, this Toronto Blue Jays gave up 3 runs, 2 runs, and lost all 3 of those games, right? And that's all accustomed to the bats. So if this top of the order can get going, the bottom of the order has been great for this club so far. Calvin Biggio has been awesome. Ernie Clement's been awesome. Dalton Varsho, like I mentioned, should have been the hitter of the week last week. So once the top of the order goes, this team is going to be a problem, I think. And we've been saying that for a while now, but they really haven't started going at all this year. So it's been tough.
All right, Johnny, give me your MVP of the series if the Blue Jays win.
I'm going to say the MVP of the series is going to be Bichette, man. This guy, the atmosphere this weekend is going to be insane. I know you guys haven't seen the new stadium, obviously, with all the new renovations and stuff like that.
But for my MVP of the series, I got to go with Mookie Betts. He's been having an MVP season, a 4-hit game against the Nationals. Every single day, you're seeing a different version of Mookie. He was already an elite player, but he's out to prove that, hey, this is still one of the best players in the game. But that's going to do it. But Johnny Junta from the Gate 14 podcast. I don't care if you're not a Toronto Blue Jays fan. Check in with these guys on YouTube, on the podcast.
And that was my guy, Johnny Junta, man. This guy, he knows all things Toronto Blue Jay baseball, and we're in for a good series. I mean, like I said in the preview, don't let this be the get right series for the top of that Blue Jays lineup. Continue to roll if you're Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts. And I want to see a really good start from Gavin Stone. I think the pitching matchup tonight with Bassett versus Stone. You got to give the advantage to Bassett at home. Stone, little rocky in his last start. You want to have him put it together. Glass now on Saturday. Definitely feel good about that one. We'll see if we get Paxton on Sunday. But this team, you need to put together lots of wins. You need to have a really good road trip. You got that sweep. You had lost 6 of 9. I think this is going to be a really good series for the Dodgers. Like I said, I got Mookie as my MVP. But we got an update on Walker Buehler. So just a couple minutes ago, Dave Roberts was on MLB Network, and he said that they're going to need some more time for Walker Buehler. And Walker Buehler is going to need to make at least one more rehab start before returning to the mound for the Dodgers. So we're looking at least another week for Walker Buehler, and then they're going to have that conversation. So I feel like he's ready. I feel like it's just about taking advantage of Landon Knack, who's looked solid, taking advantage of the depth of this Dodgers starting rotation. And then when Walker feels like he's 100% ready to give this thing a go, you throw him back out there, and then you're more confident in him staying up and getting off to a really good start. Because I think that's really important too, is him having success and being effective early on. So if he needs another start, the Dodgers are an organization that can absolutely live with a couple more weeks, or if it's just another week without Walker Buehler back. So that is the latest. Walker Buehler is going to make at least one more rehab start, at least one more. Could be 2 more, but I think it's most likely just about getting that feel, kind of just trusting the stuff as a whole, and he's polishing it up. So I have no issue with it at all. But I want to get to some super chats before we head out of here. Roy Estrada, D-Mac, would you trade for an outfielder or infielder, or best bad regardless of, or best bat, I'm assuming that's what it says, or best bat regardless of position? I think for me, it's you wait to see who's available and who doesn't have a lot of team control if you're going to have him as a 1-year rental. If Bo Bichette becomes available, which right now doesn't seem like he is, but if a really elite player like a Nolan Arenado becomes available that has more years of team control, and you see him fitting in with this roster for more than just this season, then I think you consider that. But I think the Tyler O'Neills are guys that make a little more sense for this team, where you kind of have that 1-year rental and then you address your needs when you have more time to process it and kind of research the outlook of your roster in the offseason, kind of like what they did this past offseason. But with the flexibility of a Teoscar Hernandez, who can play both corner and outfield spots, with Mookie Betts, that can play second and shortstop, with the versatility of some of the players on this team, I think you definitely look at what bat can we find and where can we plug him in. And at that point, I think you have a better idea of what Andy Pajes is going to be able to give you. Is he the real deal? Has he sustained it? Is he here to stay? And what are they going to do with Gavin Lux? So I think at that point, it really makes the most sense. But let's read some more comments here. We got Brian over on YouTube. Out of curiosity, do you think Yamamoto will be better? Can you go down a little bit? Because I can't see the rest of that. We got, out of curiosity, do you think that Yamamoto will be better on the road than at home? Not necessarily. I mean, we saw him look really good against the Cardinals a couple starts ago. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think ultimately he's going to feel the most comfortable at home. But when you're a great player with great stuff and you can pitch the way he pitches, I don't think it necessarily is going to mean that much of a difference. Of course, we know Sandy Koufax's record with the mound at Dodger Stadium that was a little higher, that they say back in the day was the best mound to pitch from. Those statistics were a lot better, but he was great on the road too, right? Great pitchers are going to pitch great wherever they're at. I think he's going to be comfortable at home though. We got to Craig Osterberg. ROTY will take that money. Trip Morales says, what are your opinions on Tanner Scott as a trade piece? Look, you guys have watched this show for years now. You've heard me mention the name Tanner Scott as a potential lights out lefty. Well, first things first, what box does he check for this organization when it comes to bullpen pieces? He's not under team control or under contract past this season. You know they like that. You saw the deal they did for Chris Martin a couple years ago. They like bullpen pieces on shorter term deals. He has gotten off to a rocky start, though. In 10 2/3 innings, the walk rate's at 22.6%. The strikeout rate is at 18.9%. The FIP is at 5.86. The ERA is at 3.38. So he's been a little bit of a mess to start this season, and the number that's glaring is the strikeout rate. It's down from 33.9% to 18.9%. The walk rate is up from 7.8% to 22.6%. So you want to see him pitch better and prove that he's still that elite-ish bullpen piece that can help a team out there. But yeah, I'm absolutely very high on him if he can pitch like the guy he has been for the last couple of seasons. No doubt about it. Everyone D-Mac wanted is getting hurt. Scott and Arise, let's go down below in the comments section. A couple more here, and then we'll let you guys enjoy your weekend. We'll be back for the post-game show a little later. We got a big, exciting series up in Toronto. I kind of find it hilarious that Toronto fans are going to boo Shohei Ohtani. You're not necessarily booing Shohei Ohtani. You're booing his decision. You're booing everything that surrounded it. And I understand the frustration. That's basically the highest high and the lowest low, right? It's like you're getting the best Christmas present and then you just yank it away from you at the very end. I definitely feel for them, but knick-knack, paddywhack, give the Dodgers a bone. Anthony Keene, props on the shoey, bro, but can we get some sketches for you next one? Your shoe game is too clean for such things, bro. Hey, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, don't worry, I got plenty of J's, but yeah, for sure. I mean, and the Skechers, hey, Skechers go hard. I mean, ask Kirsch, right? Ask Chris Taylor. D-Mac, I got the Lakers in 7. 7. You really? I got the Lakers in 7 too. Years after a rebuild. How about you, Noel? Are they going to win one game, the Lakers?
Hey, man, you know, I got to keep it positive. I got us winning 2 more games.
Really? Sipping the Kool-Aid. Hope is not a strategy. But, yeah, I think unless they fire Darvin Ham and maybe, like, bring back Phil Jackson today. You honestly, is the thing. With that roster the way it is, if they had prime Phil Jackson, this was never going to happen. Sound like Taylor fits perfect in Toronto, trading for JT. JT's been outstanding for that team. Hepatitis, see you later. I'd trade Outman, Sheehan, rushing Knack for Tucker in a heartbeat. Time to say goodbye to CT3. Diane, what's up, Diane Schroeder down below? Yeah, I got my man Antonio always on it for the super chats. BC only bets Ohtani, Smith, Freeman, and Rojas have higher averages than Pages 258. Siler Glass now. Got some Lakers talk. Nando, there will be a ton of Dodgers fans in Toronto. Absolutely. South Central 310. I heard this time Ohtani is on a plane heading to Toronto. So, look, the Dodgers, they got Shohei Ohtani at the end of the day. He is the best player in Major League Baseball. He's going to be under contract for the next 10 seasons. So, look, it was a lot of drama, as you would expect, a lot of ups and downs. But at the end of the day, he's happy in LA, and they're going to win multiple championships. You heard it here. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the #1 Dodgers YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. Hit that like button. And most importantly, you know what to do. Comment Siler Glass now down below so you can be eligible for that giveaway. An authentic jersey. Let's do some walk-off shots, though. Some walk-off shots here. We got the unicorn from John. Thanks for another dope one, D-Mac. We got Shohei is going to light up Toronto this weekend from John over on Facebook. Roy Estrada said Jeannie needs to come up for air to see this mess. Justin Ohtani's on a plane to Toronto and Kikuchi has the restaurant reserved. Okay. Let's ease up. We got Nando facts. Mark Anderson speaks the truth. Some more Shohei Ohtani stuff. Lakers in 7 years after rebuild. Yeah, one eye check, but that's going to do it. I got Fire LeBron. Fire LeBron. That's a fire take over there on the YouTube. So that's going to do it, guys. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your weekend. It's going to be a great series against the Toronto Blue Jays. Check for the post-game show after the game. Thanks, as always. Remember, nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue.